I'm Bridget Macklin, I'm a ceramicist and I'm based down in Cornwall on the Roseland Peninsula. I was a teacher for years and years and I ended up working with children with special needs, specifically dyslexia. And that was a lot of fun, but it was also quite hard work and quite tiring. And then I discovered that both my children were earning more than I was, and that really annoyed me. So I decided that I didn't want to be a teacher anymore. I wanted to have fun and enjoy myself. So I went to art college and, amongst other things, was introduced to ceramics. And actually, I came to just love it. And now I just find that it's such a tactile material and I love the feel of the clay itself. So the challenges in terms of sustainability are largely, I think, about waste. If you fire something in clay, you've got it forever afterwards, and it's really difficult to know what to do with the pieces that fail. So one of the challenges is to make a decision before it goes in the kiln. Is it going to work? And if it isn't, then admit that it's not going to work and recycle the clay. And one of the things I do is recycle clay that actually isn't clean. So an awful lot of people will recycle their clean clay, but if it's got stains or dyes or found materials in it, they won't recycle it. But I do, because I think it's quite important, and also because I find that it produces some remarkable results. But the other one is actually the purchase of materials, knowing where they come from, knowing that they are sustainably sourced, for example. I'd like to know where my materials come from, my porcelain. I know where the other material comes from because I go and dig it up myself, but the porcelain, I've no idea whether it's local or not, and I'd very much like to know. So my creative process is that I start with porcelain. I love the whiteness of the porcelain. And then I mix into that found materials, so something from the foundations of a house or something that's fallen out of a cliff or from the bole of a tree when a tree is blown down. Mix those in, and those are largely what gives colour to my pieces. I hand build because I love the fact that it takes a long time. You get an intimate relationship with the clay. You really, by the time I've finished and a piece goes in the kiln, I know it pretty well, and I love that about it. I sort of feel I've invested in it to a much greater degree than if I was throwing it on a wheel. And I don't glaze my work. I glaze the insides but not the outsides, so when you touch a piece you're feeling just the clay, there's nothing between you and it. I think I amended my practice to become more sustainable on a very gradual basis. I've always been interested in the environment and cared about it, but I think the idea that I could work more sustainably was a very slow creep, which has probably accelerated over the last couple of years. So I amended the workshop, I think, as a part of moving to this house. Before that, I'd always had to rent a studio, which limits what you can do. But when we moved here, it was possible for me to consider how the workshop would be powered, where the hot water might come from, how I kept it warm, what happened to the waste that I washed down the sink. And so there were quite a lot of changes that I could make, which I was in full control of. I bought a new kiln rather than buy a second-hand kiln when I started in my first studio. So that's relatively modern, well insulated. It's also on the small side, so I don't have to power it up half full. I can fill it to capacity and then fire it. It's powered by solar panels, as is the whole house. So my power is free, which is quite nice. And the hot water in it comes from either spare solar energy or ground source heat, which is pumped through the house, keeps the house warm, heats the hot water as well. I think I do need to think about how sustainable my packaging is and how I transport finished work. I'm very aware that I still use bubble wrap, although I haven't actually bought any bubble wrap for years and years and years, because I save all the packaging that arrives in the house from things that have been ordered, and those bits of packaging get reused. I think my advice for a ceramicist who wanted to become more sustainable would be to accept that they can't do everything, and that if they can make small changes, then they're doing something to help and support the environment. And so you have to acknowledge that if you're going to fire something, it's there forever. So think about it. Is it going to be something that actually is going to succeed before you put it in the kiln? And think about the amount of waste and what you can do with, for example, the waste clay that you end up with after you've made a piece. Does it have to go in the bin? Is there something else you can do with it? But it's little things, isn't it?